G'day, it's Monday night and I caught up with your video from the weekend. Good to see you philosophising in the freezing cold of Canberra. And for anyone who ever wondered was the tardy AIDSy stuff an act, go and watch his videos he's making on Code Grey and that may answer your question. And it's good to see you in philosophising mode, enjoyable in and of itself, and also it's got me in the mood to do a bit more of the talky, thinky philosophising, which I think I haven't done so much of lately. Now, an issue I've seen quite a bit of in the last couple of days online are people lobbying to get rape-themed pages removed from Facebook. On the surface of it, given how conservative some of Facebook's policies are, you might think that pages that centered around let's make jokes or belittle the whole thing of rape wouldn't last very long, but according to the people lobbying for it, there's quite a lot of them out there and they're not seeing a lot of reaction from Facebook. An approach being taken by a lot of the people lobbying is to target advertisers. They've in fact taken screenshots of, here is an image from a page that we believe is either promoting or belittling the severity of rape, and here's the ads that appeared next to it, and are you as an advertiser happy that your ads are there seeming to be endorsing the fact that this page that puts images that treat drugging and raping someone as a jolly old joke, are you happy to have your ads there seeming to endorse that? Now, although I'm not actively involved in this campaign, I think that's a perfectly valid approach. If you see something that you personally disagree with, speak up, express that I think that's invalid, particularly if it's a commercial thing, like if there's advertising attached to it, drawing attention to the advertisers. If you associate with that, then I may well not buy your product, or just generally, you might not want to be perceived to be associated with that. You wouldn't have to be a genius to already know my position on rape and sad little bastards who think demeaning women and making fun of the plight of women who are subjected to rape and misogyny in general. You wouldn't have to be a genius to know what my position on that is. On this campaign, like I said, while I think it's a completely valid approach to take, I would regard this thing as a discussion rather than something that's already got a full stop at the end of it where you can say, this is absolutely bad, this absolutely must stop. I know what I believe is a bad thing and an unacceptable thing, and I think it's fair to raise to an advertiser. At the moment, the way Facebook is running this, it could be construed that you're endorsing this. Now, these pages, it would really, really be giving them too much to say they are jokes. They are deliberately provocative and obnoxious little shitheads getting their jollies by winding people up. And that is one of the reasons I pause to think about this, rather than going, rah, smash them, bring them down. I think the pages probably should be taken down because the losers won't get their jollies after that. But I also think there probably needs to be an ongoing dialogue on a number of levels. One, because I definitely am not a subscriber to the point of view, you can never make a joke around topic X, because I think it's all about your motivation, and it's too much shifting. You can't make a joke about race. Well, of course you can. You can't make a joke about rape. Well, I personally lean on the I won't, and it's not so much that I will slam on someone and say, you are definitely not allowed to make a joke about that. But if you use a lazy hack and quite nasty and vindictive line that you think is a joke, I will judge the fuck out of you. Absolutely. So on this topic of the rape pages on Facebook, I think Facebook definitely should be a bit more even-handed in their treatment, given that if you show a picture of breastfeeding, it'll get removed and might get your account canned. These pages seem, slightly worse than that. Just putting it out there. But second, the people who are thumping their fist, maybe a little bit hard, I think you aren't going to get rid of it, because this is how these sad little bastards get their jollies. I think it's worth calling it to Facebook's attention and worth making Facebook responsible for what happens from here on in. But the idea that we're going to stamp this out, well, No, definitely make your voice heard. I always think make your voice heard, but the whole idea of, stamp this out because it's absolutely wrong. Well, you end up, if you get these guys, there's a whole bunch of them that I think, yeah, no argument whatsoever. That's wrong and should be gone. I just think, are you going to stop then, really, if you get the absolutely wrong? Okay, well, here's one that's a bit dodgy, and I kind of think this might upset someone, so let's get rid of that too. Definitely not everyone involved in this campaign will be like that, but I know from experience there are people who will. They will just keep going and going and going, and certainly I say shitloads of stuff that would offend people, usually quite deliberately. So that's what I meant when I said earlier, I think it should be a conversation, not something that this is it, this is ending, we're stopping it, and it'll be gone forever. Of course, another thing I think some of these lobbyists don't always take into account is the same tactic will be used on things you support. So when you are successful at knocking out something that you think is wrong, be aware of the fact a lot of things you support are viewed in a similar way. Like, okay, a lot of the people who are promoting the women's rights would promote abortion rights, gay rights, and a few other things that you will get, for instance, religiously conservative people arguing against. So if they see a gay rights page on Facebook or an abortion rights page on Facebook, they will lobby to have it taken down. They won't necessarily succeed. I certainly don't agree with them, but it is simply the same tactic. And it's important to acknowledge that one's views are not universally held. I think when you can clearly point out that's doing damage, I am all for speaking out against it. But be aware, things that you actively support will absolutely be seen by someone else as a destructive and negative thing that must be stopped. So that's another reason I don't go in for absolutism, because I think, and honestly, that's something the religious conservatives should pay attention to as well. I don't think that they fully take into account when people, I want that ad banned because it's got boobies. I want that ad banned because they were gay. The same thing will be used against you. By all means, speak about things you think are wrong. Draw attention to things you think are wrong. But once you start with the absolute moralizing, first, I think it's open to pitfalls of you just getting it wrong. And second, it will be used against you. And I'm sure you have some opinions on this too.